Hey everybody, it's me, Jack, and I'm back with another review. My friends, there are movies, and then there are miracles. Movies range from good to bad to absolutely fantastic. Miracles are so good, so gosh darn terrific, that they're out of this world. And a couple months ago, I experienced one of those miracles in the form of a movie. An 80s movie. An 80s movie based on a popular series of trading cards. I am of course talking about the 1987 masterpiece, Garbage Pail Kids. I know what you're thinking. This just looks like another stupid 80s movie. Well, I assure you, it is so much more. And here's why. The story of this movie centers around a bunch of mysterious children called the Garbage Pail Kids. They came in a garbage pail from outer space and landed on Earth. There, they befriend a boy named Dodger, go on adventures, and help him make clothes. Now already, by listening to the plot of this movie, you can tell it's gonna be good. But there are plenty of other things to love about the movie. First of all, the characters. The human characters, like Captain Manzini and of course Dodger, are very likable and enjoyable. They have good character chemistry and the actors that play them do a damn good job. But the real stars of the movie are of course the Garbage Pail Kids themselves, and my god, these are some of the most adorable, lovable, and enjoyable characters to ever be put on the screen. All of them are very fleshed out and have their own personalities, like Windy Winston, who farts, Valerie Vomit, who vomits, Nat Nerd, who pisses himself. They do this constantly throughout the entire movie, and each time is even funnier than the last. Well, except for Valerie Vomit. They save her vomiting until the very end of the movie. But you know what? It was worth the wait. The rest of the kids are great as well. Foul Phil, Alligator, but the absolute best is, of course, Greaser Greg. Oh my god, this guy is such a badass. He's always so suave and confident about everything. He has a pocket knife and he's not afraid to use it. And he has possibly one of the greatest lines in cinema history. When Nat Nerd says that they don't have any money, he says that it's no problem because they'll carve out an IOU. Greg is my hero. It also goes without saying that the animatronics on the Garbage Pail Kids are absolutely spectacular. Screw Jurassic Park. To hell with E.T. These are animatronics at their best. The lip movements are perfect, and the amount of emotion that they manage to convey on these kids' faces is just outstanding. Joy, fear, anger, disgust. They convey it perfectly. Of course, heroes are nothing without a good villain, and this movie absolutely delivers one. Juice is such a great villain. He's this punk kid / young man who constantly attacks Dodger and steals his money, and then tries to have him killed. What a bastard. The actor that plays him gives a truly terrifying performance. Whenever he refers to Dodger as a creep, it just sends shivers of terror down my spine. And the fact that he has no motivation for doing this makes him even more interesting. Because you gotta wonder, did Dodger do something that pissed him off? Did he kill a friend of his? Did he get him fired from his job? We don't know, but we can speculate. I love a movie that can do that. And even if he doesn't have a motivation, that just shows how evil he is. He's tormenting this poor boy just because it makes him feel good. Juice is a villain that you love to hate. Another strong point of this movie is the story. It's told in a way that makes it very unpredictable. Things just come out of nowhere, like the whole subplot about the state home for the ugly. But that's good because it keeps us guessing. There are a lot of scenes that just allow us to spend time with these great characters. We follow the Garbage Pail Kids as they go to the movies, get into fights at a bar, try to fix a TV, play cards, put on disguises. We also get to see them run over Juice's car. Now, they don't show the accident, and this is a great example of less is more. Instead of just showing the accident like a stupid movie would, this movie smartly decides to leave the accident up to the imagination, which clearly shows the filmmaker's understanding of what makes a good scene. The film is full of ideas like this. We never see or hear about Dodger's parents. Maybe he's an orphan. The overlying theme of this movie is that real beauty is on the inside, and it's beautifully illustrated. Right at the beginning, Captain Manzini says that you can't change how you look, but you can change how you act. Which is followed by Winston farting. But that's good because everybody, no matter how ugly they are, farts. He then proceeds to say that ugliness is not in a mirror. Ugliness is cruelty. But to have unusual features is an adventure. Then he admits to Dodger that it was all just an act. Which is good because it makes us think, is beauty really on the inside? Or should we just judge people by how they look? The Garbage Pail Kids naturally do a lot of bad things in this movie, like steal from a non-union sweatshop. But it shows that sometimes, in order to do the right thing, you gotta forget about the little people. They also steal a Pepsi truck. This shows that sometimes you gotta dig really, really deep to find the beauty inside. But the Garbage Pail Kids show that they are still beautiful people on the inside, as they make clothes for Dodger, after careful consideration because it doesn't benefit them in any way. And they do plenty of other things in this movie as well, like beat people up, steal things that don't belong to them. But again, imperfection is natural. Even the nicest people do some bad things sometimes. Not to mention, the part when they steal the Pepsi leads to easily one of the smartest lines in the whole movie, when Valerie Vomit says, "We're the Pepsi generation." Now, this might just seem like shameful product placement to a lot of people, but I don't see it that way, and here's why. If any of you have seen or drank a Pepsi, you know that on the outside it looks perfectly fine, but on the inside it's the most gruesome, disgusting, horrible drink you could ever have. Seriously, Pepsi is the worst drink ever. Good on the outside, but on the inside, it's ugly. Genius. This movie is also funny as hell. All the jokes, from Foul Phil eating everything, Greaser Greg knowing his chicks, and of course all the times the character vomits, pees, or farts, are all bullseyes. This movie also has a great soundtrack. Scenes like when Dodger is being chased, and especially the scene in the State Home for the Ugly, which has some great organ music adding to the creepy atmosphere of the scene, are great. There's also some great songs, like We Can Do Anything by Working With Each Other, which is a truly inspiring tune, as the Garbage Pail Kids talk about how important it is to work together. But this is also a very dark film, especially for a children's movie. But hey, what great children's movie isn't dark? The dark tone of this movie just goes to show how much this film's creators respected children, especially with the State Home for the Ugly. Now, clearly the story of this movie takes place in a dark, gritty future, where a law has been passed that ugly people are to be destroyed. I mean, why else would they be doing this? And maybe that's why Juice isn't arrested, because the only thing that the police care about in this world is capturing ugly people. Another thing I love about this movie is that they set up that the Garbage Pail Kids have friends who are in the State Home for the Ugly. Naturally, we assume that when they get to the State Home for the Ugly, they'll find them. But as it turns out, they're too late. Their friends are gone. But does this get them down? Hell no. They keep smiling and stay happy. This is an important lesson to teach to children. Even when your friends die, there's no time for mourning. Life is too short. Granted, we don't see them being told that their friends are dead, but we can assume that Captain Manzini did. Again, less is more. Then we get the epic climax of this movie, where they crash the fashion show. We get to see Windy Winston unleash his gas of death upon the crowd, and we even get Dodger finally giving Juice what he deserves, only to realize that he doesn't deserve it. In this moment, Dodger realizes that he is the bully. He realizes that he deserves to have his ass kicked by Juice, and that while he might look good on the outside, on the inside, he is ugly. The movie ends with the Garbage Pail Kids escaping and riding off into the night, and this wonderful work of art comes to an end. There are no words that I can use to describe how brilliant this movie is. If there is one negative thing about this movie, is that there was no sequel. This movie deserves a franchise. Then again, maybe it was best that they didn't make the sequel, because they knew that it wouldn't be nearly as good as this movie, because this movie set the bar so high. And that is why I'm going to give Garbage Pail Kids a 10 out of 10.